An armored bear roars ferociously as it unleashes its terrifying power upon the scene. A desperate merchant screams for the beast to stay away while Ko watches the violent attack in shock. The sheer scale of the threat looms large as the reality of the deadly encounter sets in. Ko realizes he was just an ordinary person until this moment, yet he feels a desperate urge to help the victim. Seeing the armored bear distracted by the merchant, Ko realizes this is his only chance to escape unnoticed. He hesitates, berating himself for being a cowardly adult who is considering abandoning someone in need. Memories flood back of how he always looked up to firefighters and their selfless bravery. As a child watching the news, he idolized those who saved others, seeing them as true heroes. Ko's expression hardens with regret as he recalls how he had already given up on those childhood dreams. He remembers riding the last train home from overtime work when he was suddenly pulled into a pitch-black void. A system interface informs him he has been summoned to another world and demands he select a role like brave, magician, or demon lord. Confused and exhausted, Ko wonders if he is simply hallucinating from severe fatigue. Rejecting the dangerous roles of heroes and kings as death flags, he decides to select none of the offered paths. He nervously watches the cursor hover over the interface, swallowing hard as he makes his unconventional choice. The system confirms he selected the hidden option, none, and warns that he will receive substandard abilities. Despite the warning, the transfer begins as Ko Kusaka is blessed by the spirits and gods. The void fades away, replaced by the view of a lush forest canopy overhead. Ko winces as bright sunlight hits his face, waking him from the transfer process. He stands alone in the forest, listening to the chirping birds while trying to grasp his situation. Disbelief washes over him as he questions if this vivid reality is truly another world or just a dream. Checking his pockets, he finds only his smartphone, wallet, and some tissues. With a wry smile, he wonders how he will survive in this unknown forest with just his meager belongings. Upon commanding his status to open, he discovers he has a unique set of skills including creation, item box, and appraisal. He is baffled to see his magic power is at 1,000, which is 10 times that of a general magician. Ko notes that this interface feels just like a game, finding the situation increasingly entertaining. He activates the full assist skill to install his abilities faster, accepting the system's help. A notification confirms the installation is complete as Ko reacts with surprise. Testing his item box skill, he touches a nearby tree and feels information flow into his mind. He shouts, "Storage," and the massive tree is instantly sucked into a magical crest. The tree vanishes completely, leaving only empty air and falling leaves where it once stood. Ko marvels at the convenience as the interface confirms he now has one cypress tree in his inventory. He proceeds to use the dismantle skill, breaking the tree down into logs and wondering if it works on everything. Excited by his abilities, he decides to immediately test the creation skill next. The system explains that creation consumes materials to make higher performance items, and he selects a cypress stick recipe. With a shout of creation, he instantly produces the item from his inventory using the magic circle. He inspects the newly made cypress stick, which boasts S+ incombustibility and A rank durability. The creation skill immediately levels up to rank 2, unlocking even more recipes for him to use. Ko realizes that the more he creates, the stronger he becomes and the more options he unlocks. Pondering the interface's flexibility, he wonders if he can change how the window is displayed. He closes his eyes and successfully switches the interface from window mode to image mode. Ko examines his interface, reading the details for his item box and the creation skill which consumes materials to grant special effects to new items. He realizes he can manage these menus mentally and resolves to be careful with his new powers. Activating his skill, he produces a cypress wood axe that boasts sharpness akin to metal and a throwing critical A+ effect. Although he has never used a weapon, he feels the skill guiding his grip and wonders if he should test the throwing mechanic. With a shout of dexterity, Ko hurls the axe with supernatural precision. The wooden weapon smashes violently into a large rock, shattering it on impact. Debris flies everywhere as the stone is pulverized by the force of the throw visual. Ko stares in shock at the destruction caused by a simple wooden tool. He marvels that the throwing critical effect allowed wood to break solid rock. While he still doesn't understand all his skills, he reviews his impressive list which includes Transferer, Creation, and God's Eye. Confident in his cheat-like abilities, Ko believes he can actually survive in this strange new world. He decides to grind his creation rank immediately and prepare some equipment for the journey ahead. The sun beats down on the forest as time passes during his crafting session. Ko wipes sweat from his brow, letting out a tired sigh after his exertions. He confirms that his repetitive work has successfully raised his creation skill to rank 5. He notes that experience is only gained from new recipes, forcing him to innovate rather than repeat the same items. Reviewing his inventory, he sees he has created 8 different recipes from the cypress tree, each with unique effects. He is baffled by a cypress chair that somehow possesses a dangerous, faint effect. Ko decides to head for a village before sunset, not wanting to sleep in the dangerous forest. He treks through the dense woods, making his way through the undergrowth. Despite the long walk, he isn't tired thanks to his transferer skill being rank 99, which boosts his physical and mental capabilities. He realizes his senses are sharpened, allowing him to detect a disturbance nearby. A sudden scream pierces the silence of the forest. Ko sprints toward the source of the noise to investigate the emergency. Breaking through the trees, he discovers a terrifying, armored bear cornering a defenseless merchant. The monster is described as a demon with a steel-like shell that constantly seeks battle. The merchant begs for his life while Ko hides in the bushes, assessing the dangerous beast. Ko realizes the bear hasn't noticed him yet, giving him a perfect opportunity to escape safely. He hesitates, telling himself that his own safety is the most important thing. But his conscience weighs on him as he questions if he can really walk away. Memories surface of his childhood dream to become a brave firefighter. He recalls admiring how they saved people without any regard for their own danger. Gritting his teeth, he realizes that running away now would be the complete opposite of the hero he wanted to be. He resolves that he must act, knowing the merchant will surely die if he flees. Ko accepts that he has the power to help now, reigniting the dream he thought he had given up on. With a fierce battle cry, he charges out of hiding to confront the monster. He dashes forward, weapon in hand, closing the distance between him and the beast. Unleashing his dexterity skill, Ko strikes the armored bear with a powerful blow. He smiles, declaring that he wants to be the kind of person who reaches out to save others. Extending a hand to the stunned merchant, Ko asks if he is alright, proving he doesn't need a title to be a hero. Chrome introduces himself as a merchant, bowing respectfully to express his gratitude for being saved. Ko awkwardly introduces himself as a simple woodworker, hoping to ask for a guide to the city without seeming suspicious. When asked if he made the powerful wooden axe himself, Ko plays it down while Chrome remains skeptical that a craftsman could defeat a monster in one blow. Curious about his feat, Ko asks if the armored bear is really considered a strong monster in this world. Chrome explains that the beast is an A-rank monster capable of destroying small villages overnight when it goes on a rampage. He details how its body is as hard as armor, making it impervious to most standard attacks and difficult to subdue. Ko breaks into a cold sweat, realizing that his creation skills granted effects allowed him to easily blow away such a terrifying creature. Since the sun is setting, Chrome invites Ko to stay at his mansion in the city ahead. Chrome suddenly realizes he has no way to transport his merchandise since his coachman and horse fled during the attack. Seeing the merchant's distress, Ko offers to carry the cargo using his item box skill. Chrome warns that item boxes usually have capacity limits, but he is eager to see Ko's high-level skill in action. Ko activates storage with a command, targeting the scattered goods and the massive monster corpse. In an instant, he sucks up not just the merchandise but also the gigantic armored bear, leaving Chrome speechless. Flabbergasted, Chrome questions Ko's identity, doubting that a mere woodworker could possess such godlike power. Ko quickly concocts a lie about training in the mountains to explain his lack of common sense and abnormal strength. Satisfied that his cover story is working, Ko walks with Chrome toward the city while processing the new information. He analyzes the world's power system, noting that people are limited to 3 skills which are either talent or intelligence types. Checking his status, Ko sees he is level 8 and realizes that people here have no concept of leveling up or experience points. He concludes that with his cheat-like growth and skills, he might easily become the strongest existence in this world. Ko asks why a wealthy merchant had no guards, prompting Chrome to explain the situation with a bitter laugh. Chrome reveals that he hired from the mercenary guild, but they abandoned him and fled the moment the bear appeared. He sighs, explaining that his usual high-ranking adventurers were unavailable, leading to this disastrous betrayal. As they reach the destination, Ko feels a deep distrust toward the guild system that allows such irresponsibility. The massive gates of the city of Anin loom before them, bustling with life and activity. Visual. Ko's eyes sparkle with excitement as he wonders if he will spot elves or beastmen in this fantasy town. A commotion ahead draws their attention as they notice a crowd gathered around a loud argument. The runaway mercenaries are loudly boasting that they fought desperately against the armored bear. They shamelessly lie to the guild officials, claiming that Chrome panicked and got himself killed by the monster. Ko watches in disgust, realizing they are fabricating a hero's story to cover up their cowardly abandonment. Chrome steps forward through the crowd, calling out to the men who just pronounced him dead. The mercenaries look as if they've seen a ghost, stammering and accusing Chrome of being a fake. Chrome calmly declares he is alive thanks to Ko, prompting the cornered mercenaries to demand proof of the bear's defeat. The crowd gasps in shock as Ko instantly retrieves the massive corpse of the armored bear from his item box. Visual. A guild official demands an explanation from the pale-faced mercenaries, whose lies have been exposed. The men stutter and sweat, unable to form a coherent excuse in the face of such undeniable evidence. Chrome coldly testifies that they abandoned him and fled without lifting a finger to fight. The official declares them under arrest, stating that abandoning a client in danger is a serious crime. Guards step in to detain the disgraced mercenaries, ordering them to put their hands out. Enraged and desperate, one mercenary draws his weapon and lunges forward, screaming that he won't accept this. Ko steps in to block the attack, asking the man if he isn't being a bit too selfish. Ko refuses to back down against the enraged mercenary, blocking the man's path with a wooden chair he grabs nearby. He swings the makeshift weapon with surprising speed, intercepting the mercenary's attack. A loud metallic clang rings out as the chair connects solidly with the attacker. The mercenary collapses instantly, and Ko realizes the chair he made has terrifying hidden effects like strengthening and faint effect S. Silence falls over the room as the crowd stares in disbelief at the young man holding a chair. Suddenly, the crowd erupts in cheers, recognizing the defeated man as the notorious B-rank mercenary Dox. Ko is tossed into the air by the jubilant townspeople who are thrilled to see the overbearing bully finally taken down. Later, a carriage takes Ko and Chrome through the bustling streets of the city as the excitement dies down. Ko stares out the window, reflecting on how the interrogation consumed the entire evening. He recalls the guards explaining that the mercenary guild has been causing increasing trouble lately, though they were sympathetic to his self-defense plea. Chrome smiles warmly, relieved to have entered the city of Anin safely thanks to Ko's presence. They arrive at their destination, and Ko is grateful he won't have to scramble for an inn so late at night. Ko's jaw drops in shock as he steps out of the carriage and sees the building. He stands before a massive, palace-like mansion, realizing that Chrome is not just rich, but absurdly wealthy. A double line of maids bows in unison to welcome their master home, greeting them with disciplined elegance. Chrome chuckles at Ko's hesitation and invites him inside, asking pardon for the overwhelming welcome. They sit down to a lavish dinner featuring Anin's famous roast chicken, which Ko eyes with hunger. Ko is shown to a guest room that rivals a luxury hotel suite, complete with a massive fluffy bed. Rolling around on the soft mattress with a full stomach, he decides he never wants to return to his old life. He thinks of his deceased parents and lack of a lover back in Japan, realizing the only thing waiting for him there is corporate drudgery. With a contented sigh, he concludes that this new world is far more attractive than the one he left behind. Looking out at the night sky, he plans to find a place to stay tomorrow and start enjoying his freedom to travel. The next morning, he is startled by the sheer grandeur of the estate in the daylight. Chrome visits his room and offers him a month's worth of free lodging as a token of gratitude for saving his life. He explains that this building is actually an inn owned by his company, guaranteeing quality service while Ko gets used to the town. Chrome reveals his true status as the head of the Scarlet Company, a major trading firm. He explains that he was posing as a simple merchant to prepare for handing the business over to his son. Ko tries to be humble about his skills, but Chrome insists that meeting Ko was a divine gift for his retirement. The older man offers a piece of wisdom about the difference between having a good hand and playing it well. Chrome notes that many people squander their talents, unable to use them for good. He praises Ko for using his abilities to save a life, telling him to be proud of his actions. Ko beams with happiness, promising to remember those words and thanking Chrome for his kindness. Chrome advises him to register at the Adventurers Guild if he wants to see more of the world. He explains that a guild card serves as an ID and that Ko's abilities would easily secure him a high rank. Before leaving, Chrome warns Ko not to dress too politely or he'll be treated as a weakling, suggesting he wear armor. Left alone, Ko ponders where to get armor, realizing his business suit looks out of place here. A sudden idea strikes him as he remembers the materials stored in his item box. He activates his interface, dismantling the armored bear corpse and using creation to craft new gear. The system prompts him to equip the newly created item, and Ko eagerly accepts. A flash of light engulfs him as the equipment is instantly fitted onto his body. Ko admires his new bear suit, armor made from the steel shell of the armored bear that boasts S-rank physical strength and high defense. Ko enters the Adventurers Guild, and a heavy silence instantly descends upon the bustling room as everyone freezes. Adventurers whisper in awe, recognizing the distinctive armor of the man who beat the mercenary at the gate. The whispers coalesce into a single, terrified nickname as the crowd identifies him as the Bear Killer. Oblivious to the fear he inspires, Ko wonders if he is out of place as a rookie adventurer. He approaches the reception counter, causing a nearby adventurer to flinch and jump up in terror. As the man tactically retreats to safety, Ko fights back nausea while a receptionist smiles professionally at him. Ko asks to register as an adventurer, suddenly remembering Chrome's advice to drop the polite honorifics. The receptionist, Milia, gasps in pure shock that someone of his caliber isn't already registered. She apologizes profusely, having assumed he was a veteran active adventurer from another country due to his high-level gear. Recovering her professional composure, she informs him that he must pass a practical exam to join the guild. Ko fills out the registration forms, but Milia questions his claim in the appeal column that he is not good at rough things. He insists he is being serious, explaining that he wants to avoid fighting whenever possible. Ko asks what the practical exam entails, hoping it won't be too violent for his tastes. Milia reveals he must spar with a former A-rank adventurer to prove his skills, warning it might be hard. The scene shifts to the underground training area where the test will take place. A crowd gathers to watch, discussing the odds and placing bets on the Bear Killer to win against the instructor. Milia whispers encouragement, telling him that he doesn't actually have to beat the instructor to pass the exam. She adds that she expects him to win anyway, but reassures him that losing is acceptable for a new registration. Ko decides to go all out to ensure he passes, drawing a massive weapon from his inventory. He marvels that the colossal cypress mallet feels weightless in his hands thanks to his S-rank strength skill. With a casual swing, he tests the weapon's balance, generating a terrifying sound as it cuts the air. The sheer force of the swing blasts a shockwave of wind at the onlookers, leaving them stunned and terrified. The crowd falls silent, realizing the instructor might actually die if that massive hammer connects even once. Instructor Guise steps forward, arrogantly promising to show the rookie that there is always someone stronger. Ko observes Guise's confident demeanor, resolving not to let his guard down against such an experienced veteran. The two combatants face off in the arena, tension filling the air as they wait for the signal. Milia announces the start of the exam, and the battle begins instantly as Guise invites the attack. Ko charges forward with deceptive speed, dragging the massive mallet behind him for a strike. He unleashes a horizontal swing, but Guise dodges the lethal blow with the ease of a master. The mallet smashes into the wall, sending debris flying as Guise narrowly evades the devastating impact. Ko swings again, but the experienced instructor weaves through the attacks with minimal movement, reading every blow. Guise taunts him, pointing out that his attacks are too large and that reliance on brute strength leaves him wide open. The instructor seizes the opening, dashing inside Ko's guard to deliver a finishing strike with his sword. Guise targets the gaps in Ko's defense, confident that his speed and precision will secure the victory. But Ko reacts with supernatural speed, pivoting to intercept the attack before it can land. To Guise's horror, Ko catches the steel blade with his bare armored hand, stopping the attack dead. The sword is immobilized in Ko's iron grip, leaving the instructor defenseless and terrified by the display of power. Ko raises the hammer for a finishing blow as the crowd watches in frozen shock. Milia screams for them to stop, rushing in to end the match just before Guise is crushed. She raises Ko's hand in victory, declaring the Bear Killer the winner of the match amidst the stunned silence. The training hall erupts into thunderous cheers as the stunned crowd chants, "Bear Killer," unable to believe a rookie defeated the instructor. Guise graciously admits defeat, checking on Ko's condition while praising the young man's wonderful performance. Shaking Ko's hand, The veteran remarks on the vastness of the world and notes Ko's peculiar combat application of the item box. Milia claps enthusiastically, congratulating Ko on passing the exam and declaring she has high expectations for his future. She formally presents him with his new guild card, effectively serving as his license and ID in this world. Ko tries to downplay his victory to be polite, but Milia is still reeling from the shock that he defeated the instructor in a single blow. Switching to business mode, she hands him a rule booklet and offers to verbally explain the most critical points. She outlines the ranking system from S down to F, explaining that Ko starts at the bottom and must complete requests to rank up. Ko learns the strict protocols for accepting quests and the severe punishments for crimes like forgery or betraying a client. Stroking his chin, Ko muses to himself that the guild structure feels remarkably like a video game system. Milia encourages him to aim for B rank, revealing enticing benefits like injury compensation and a retirement pension. With a bright smile, she presents a recommended first quest, collecting 50 stalks of Neos grass. She explains the reward is 400 kamsa per stalk because the grass grows in dangerous, monster-infested habitats. Ko quickly calculates the math, realizing the total reward would be a lucrative 20,000 kamsa. Milia adds that because the demand for medicine is so high, there are additional risk allowances provided. However, she drops the catch. A rookie's first quest requires supervision by a high-ranked adventurer. Winking confidently, Milia promises to find someone using her 100% success rate negotiation skills. Left alone to wait, Ko sighs with relief, grateful that his transition to adventurer life has been so smooth. He thinks back to Chrome's generosity, recalling how the merchant gave him 80,000 kamsa and brought him to the guild. Milia returns with a rhythmic step, apologizing for the wait as she introduces a companion for his quest. Ko is struck by the newcomer's intense presence, noting her sunset red hair and gleaming dragon horns. Milia introduces the powerful warrior as Iris Newt Fafner, an A-rank adventurer from the Dragonfolk tribe. The dragon woman smiles confidently, introducing herself as Iris and acknowledging Ko by his new title, Bear Killer. Ko bows stiffly to his new partner, thanking her for the guidance while introducing himself with excessive formality. Iris chuckles at his awkwardness, causing Ko to blush as he realizes he used polite honorifics out of habit. She reassures him that they are equals as adventurers, urging him to drop the stiff language and speak normally. Milia explains that Ko grew up isolated in the mountains, asking Iris to forgive his lack of common sense. Iris accepts the explanation, deciding that she is the most suitable person to guide such a unique rookie. As they walk through the city streets, Iris tests Ko by asking if he knows the first step of their mission. Ko mentally checks for a game wiki before admitting he has no idea where the target grass actually grows. Iris teases him about being a rising star, but advises that proper preparation is the key to getting results. She points to the rule booklet Milia gave him, revealing that it contains everything he needs to know. Ko flips through the pages, surprised to find a detailed map of monster and material distribution in the area. Iris explains that Milia handcrafted this strategy book as part of her effort to rebuild the guild branch. She advises Ko to stay on Milia's good side, predicting the capable receptionist will soon be a high-ranking executive. Shifting focus to their gear, Iris checks Ko's inventory and asks if he has anything other than weapons and armor. Realizing he is unprepared, they head toward the adventurer's street to buy the necessary camping supplies. Iris lists the essentials they need to purchase, including water bags, flint, torches, and rope. She asks if he has enough carrying capacity, and Ko casually replies that he will just store it all in his item box. Iris freezes in shock when Ko reveals his storage capacity is unlimited, a feat unheard of in this world. She explains that standard item boxes have tiny capacities and are usually ridiculed as failure skills by adventurers. Showing off her own magic pouch, she notes that high rankers rely on superior magic tools rather than the skill. Ko realizes his failure skill is actually brokenly overpowered, deciding to keep his other cheat skills a secret for now. Gear acquired, they arrive at the cello forest to finally begin the harvesting quest. Ko immediately spots the target plant and prepares to grab it, asking if he can just pull it out. Iris starts to warn him that he needs a scooper to protect the delicate roots, but Ko acts before she finishes. A magic circle flashes around the plant as Ko activates his unique method of extraction. He presents the perfectly harvested Neos grass to a stunned Iris, roots and all intact. Ko explains he used his item box to suck the plant directly out of the soil, bypassing the need for tools. He elaborates that he targeted the buried object specifically, making the collection process instant and flawless. Iris marvels that the useless skill has such a practical application just as Ko spots another plant nearby. She identifies the spotted variant as Neolana grass, warning him to tell it apart from their target. Iris sighs that the quest is usually grueling because the real grass grows far apart and mimics lookalikes. Ko decides to skip the tedious search and activates a special skill to finish before evening. His eyes glow as he triggers Artisan God's Eye to scan the surrounding area. The entire forest lights up with sparkles, marking the exact location of every target item in range. Iris is bewildered as Ko leads her straight to the next patch, explaining his skill tracks similar items. Within an hour, Ko displays his inventory screen showing he has already collected the required 50 stalks. Iris admits defeat, noting that even Milia would be shocked by how quickly his skills trivialize the quest. With time to spare before returning, Ko asks if he can use the opportunity to ask her something. He hesitantly asks if he can ask some personal questions about her background. Ko asks about the dragon folk, and Iris begins explaining their lineage as descendants of the ancient, powerful dragons. She details their superior strength and longevity compared to humans, leaving Ko in awe of her race's vitality. Iris stares at Ko in stunned silence, clearly taken aback by his genuine curiosity about her race. She explains that most humans fear dragonfolk and treat them like monsters, a reality that has always pained her. Ko dismisses the prejudice instantly, telling her that he doesn't mind her heritage at all. Iris looks at him with wide eyes, surprised by his casual and immediate acceptance. A gentle breeze blows through the trees as she processes the warmth of his words. She smiles softly, admitting that his envy of her race's strength actually makes her happy. Ko smiles back, glad that he managed to lift her spirits with his honest thoughts. Back at the guild, Milia screams in disbelief when she learns they have already completed the gathering quest. Ko dumps 50 stalks of perfectly preserved Neos grass onto the counter, leaving the receptionist speechless. Milia sighs about the paperwork this will cause while Ko explains he just used his item box. She brightens up and hands over the 20,000 Kamsa reward, mentioning potential bonuses for the quality. Iris praises him as a rising star, claiming the success was due to his talent rather than just luck. Ko arrives at the Shogetsu Inn, realizing that Chrome has put him up in a high-end establishment. He changes into a fresh suit, feeling confident as he prepares to head out for dinner. A nervousness grips him as he realizes he might be underdressed for such a luxurious place. Entering his room, Ko is shocked to find a suite that is bigger than his entire apartment back in Japan. He flips through the strategy book to find a cheaper place to eat since the inn's restaurant is too expensive. He settles at Kinkamadai and enjoys a massive plate of grilled chicken recommended by the guide. Sipping wine, he reflects on how such a luxury was impossible during his days in a black company. Ko gazes out at the city lights, raising a glass to celebrate his new life in another world. The next day, Ko hikes through the Phaedos Mountains to begin his second job as an adventurer. He reviews the quest details which require him to subdue 5 E-rank monsters known as Lonely Wolves. Ko smiles at the prospect of earning bonus rewards for the wolf fur as Iris explains the rates. He recalls finding medicinal herbs like lilium and damp mushrooms during his previous search. Deciding to put them to use, he activates his creation skill to craft potions in the field. He asks Iris for a water bag to use as a container for the liquid he is about to extract. Magic swirls around his hand as he fills the bag using the creation process. Visual. He successfully crafts a heal potion that boasts S-rank recovery speed and volume. Next, he synthesizes a detoxification potion, noting that it smells strangely like mint. The item description claims it is delicious A+, sounding more like a beverage than an antidote. Ko takes a sip and is shocked to discover it tastes like premium luxury grape juice. He apologizes to his appraisal skill for doubting its accuracy regarding the flavor. A sudden, guttural growl from the bushes interrupts his tasting session. A black wolf emerges from the forest shadows, blocking the path ahead. The beast bares its fangs, snarling ferociously at the intruders. Ko readies himself, confirming that the creature before him is the target Lonely Wolf. Ko smirks at the approaching beast, refusing to run away as he decides to confront the target head-on. He activates his dexterity skill, summoning a magic circle as he draws his blade against the lunging wolf. With a ferocious roar, he unleashes the skill just as the beast closes in for the kill. The wolf's jaws snap shut on empty air as Ko's counterattack slices through the space between them. A clean cut bisects the monster in an instant, silencing its growl forever. Blood sprays across the grass as the massive wolf corpse crashes to the ground, defeated in a single blow. Ko inspects his weapon, marveling that the creation skill produced a blade with such terrifying sharpness. He dismisses the threat as weak, calculating that he only needs to hunt 4 more to complete the quest. A sudden, low growl from the bushes interrupts his victory, freezing him in place. Ko turns to see a massive pack of wolves emerging from the shadows, realizing the lonely moniker was a lie. The pack lunges as one, their coordinated attack shattering any illusion of them being solitary creatures. Ko screams in panic, frantically swinging his sword to fend off the overwhelming wave of fangs and claws. System notifications flood his vision, announcing that he has reached level 9 and unlocked automatic collection. He pauses in confusion as the corpses of the wolves he slays instantly vanish into thin air. Realizing the skill is working, he plunges back into the fray, impaling a leaping wolf with renewed confidence. He swings his blade in a deadly arc, cutting down another beast as the automatic collection keeps the battlefield clear. Ko grins, grateful that this cheat skill saves him the tedious work of harvesting materials manually. He unleashes a powerful overhead strike, cleaving through the unending tide of monsters. Spinning like a whirlwind, he decimates the surrounding pack, sending fur and blood flying. Despite the slaughter, more wolves pour from the forest, forcing a frustrated click of the tongue from Ko. He demands to know if there is a bargain sale on wolves today, swinging wildly at the endless reinforcements. A wolf leaps at his throat, but Ko counters instantly, declaring that he won't be overwhelmed. With a final, desperate slash, he cuts down the last visible enemy, shouting that this is the end. Silence finally falls over the forest as Ko walks away, wiping sweat from his brow after the marathon battle. Checking his item box, his eyes bulge to see he has collected a staggering 2,031 wolf corpses. He sweats nervously, realizing he has wiped out an entire ecosystem and must report this anomaly to the guild. A deep vibration shakes the ground behind him, and Ko freezes as he senses yet another presence. His appraisal identifies the new threat as a lonely wolf female, a monster that hunts males during its estrus cycle. A colossal white wolf towers over him, and Ko realizes his presence as a male human triggered this disaster. The giant beast lunges with a roar, but Ko readies his weapon, refusing to become food for her brood. The battle ends, and Ko checks his status to find his level has jumped to 16 with massive stat increases. He stares blankly at the screen for a moment, letting the absurdity of his rapid growth sink in. Excited by the possibilities, he wonders if his skills will continue to evolve as his level rises. Exhausted but satisfied, he reaches a peaceful lake and decides to wash up and eat lunch. He stops in his tracks, noticing 2 figures collapsed near the water's edge. A young boy and girl lie panting heavily on the grass, looking completely drained of strength. They flinch in terror as Ko approaches, but he gently asks if they are all right. Ko introduces himself, but the boy gasps, recognizing the bear killer armor from the rumors. Ko asks if they were attacked by armored bears, but the terrified boy shakes his head. Trembling with fear, the boy whispers that they encountered something far worse than a bear. The terrified boy describes a monstrous, black spider that moved with such speed they couldn't even catch their breath. He explains that despite being in a low-rank area, this dangerous monster appeared unexpectedly. Ko learns that their simple gathering quest in the Phaedos Mountains turned into a nightmare. The boy recounts how they stood no chance against the beast until they were saved by a miracle. Ko's eyes widen as the children reveal that an A-rank dragonfolk adventurer named Iris intervened. The girl explains that Iris stayed behind to fight the A-rank monster, sacrificing herself to let them escape. A heavy silence falls as Ko processes the grim reality of the situation. The boy admits he doubts Iris could survive, even with the superior strength of the dragonfolk race. Ko demands the location of the beast, and the trembling boy points toward the mountain peak. Determined, Ko orders the children to retreat while declaring that he is going to find Iris. The girl begs him to save her, while the boy protests that fighting the black spider alone is suicide. Suddenly, the girl hears the voices of the spirits and insists that they must let Ko go. Ko pauses, asking what exactly these spirits are that she is listening to. She explains that her spiritual guidance skill allows her to communicate with invisible beings that govern nature. Trusting her power, the boy relents and warns Ko not to die, admitting the spirits have saved them before. Ko dashes into the forest as the girl prays for the spirits and gods to bless his dangerous mission. Activating the hearing enhancement skill inherent to his armored bear gear, Ko heightens his senses. He focuses intently on the sounds of the forest, desperate to catch any sign of his partner. Gritting his teeth, he pushes his body to the limit while praying that she is still alive. Ko realizes with shock that his composed persona has shattered, replaced by a desperate fear of losing someone important. A sudden noise pierces his heightened hearing, snapping his attention to a specific direction. He recognizes the faint sound, confirming it came from the thicket ahead. Without hesitation, he changes course and sprints toward the source of the disturbance, visual. He bursts through the trees, his eyes widening in horror at the scene before him. The forest clearing has been decimated, with trees snapped like twigs and the ground torn asunder. Ko surveys the carnage, wondering if the black spider's rampage caused this level of destruction. He scans the battlefield frantically, his gaze sweeping over the debris in search of a survivor. Heart-stopping, he finds Iris lying unconscious and bloodied amidst the wreckage of the battle. Relief washes over him that she is alive, but confusion strikes as he realizes the monster left its prey behind. A sudden tremor beneath his feet warns him that this peaceful moment is actually a deadly trap. The ground explodes upwards as the black spider bursts from its subterranean ambush. Debris flies everywhere as the colossal arachnid screeches, towering over Ko with terrifying menace. Ko stares down the beast, steeling himself for a life-or-death battle against the true black spider. Mandibles drip with venom as the black spider prepares to strike. Ko taunts the A-rank monster, calling it a fool for using Iris as bait while analyzing its dangerous resistances. The beast unleashes a deafening roar to intimidate its prey. Ko barely dodges a lightning-fast strike, clicking his tongue at the monster's terrifying speed. Activating his dexterity skill, Ko intercepts the attack with his blade in a clash of sparks. The impact resonates through the forest as man and monster collide. Ko realizes his attack was too shallow to inflict fatal damage on the creature's hard shell. Desperation sets in as he vows to end the battle quickly to rescue the fallen Iris. He launches a flurry of strikes, but the spider counters with overwhelming force, visual. Ko grunts in pain as the heavy blow connects with his defenses. The force of the impact sends him flying, crashing through the debris of the forest. Gasping for breath, Ko thanks his recent level-up in sturdy armor for keeping him alive. He spots his dropped cypress wood sword nearby and scrambles to retrieve it. The spider shoots a stream of thick, white thread to immobilize him. Ko's eyes widen in horror as he realizes he cannot dodge the incoming projectile. The monster screeches in triumph as the trap springs shut. Ko curses as he is instantly wrapped in the binding silk, unable to break free. He frantically searches for a way out, knowing that one bite from the approaching beast means death. A sudden realization strikes him as the spider opens its jaws to devour him. He recalls the mechanic of his item box, specifically how he stored the massive cypress tree earlier. The spider lunges forward to deliver the killing blow. A blinding flash of light erupts as Ko activates his skill at the last second. The monster bites down on empty air, confused by its prey's sudden disappearance. Ko rolls across the ground, completely free of the bindings that once held him. He smirks at the bewildered spider, mocking its confusion after his narrow escape. Ko explains that he stored the thread wrapping him into his item box along with the tree he touched. Retrieving his sword and Iris's spear, he declares that the tables have finally turned. He grips the weapon tightly, resolving to finish the fight right now. Roaring with determination, he asks the weapon to lend him its power for the final assault. Ko charges forward, closing the distance with renewed confidence and speed. He weaves through the spider's attacks, noting that its massive size makes it an easy target. Sliding beneath a lethal strike, he declares that he has more than just a sword this time. The spider screeches in frustration as its attacks hit nothing but air. Ko dances around the beast, slashing with precision and grace. He readies the spear for a devastating blow, channeling all his strength into the attack. With a powerful swing, he severs one of the spider's massive legs. Black blood sprays as the monster writhes in agony from the critical wound. Ko admits he struggled earlier due to impatience, but now the battle feels completely different. The injured spider attempts to retreat, sensing the shift in power. Ko pursues instantly, raising his weapon and shouting that there is no escape. The arachnid predator lets out a deafening roar as the battle reaches its climax. Ko screams that this is the end, launching a final assault while the monster shrieks in terror. Driving his weapon downward, he strikes with the full weight of his resolve. The spear crushes through the spider's exoskeleton with a sickening crunch, burying itself deep in the creature's flesh. With the monster cleaved in two, Ko exhales a breath of relief as the deadly encounter finally concludes. System notifications flood his vision, confirming the acquisition of an auto-mapping skill and his ascent to level 24. Dismissing the new map interface that resembles a smartphone app, he frantically turns his attention to the real emergency. Panic grips him as he spots Iris lying motionless in a pool of blood. Catching her limp body, he realizes she is barely breathing and needs immediate medical attention. He pours a high-grade heal potion over her wounds, relying on its increased recovery speed to save her life. Watching the magic take effect, he begs the potion to work as the light seeps into her injuries. A gentle glow envelopes Iris, knitting her flesh back together in a display of miraculous healing. Her eyelids flutter open as consciousness slowly returns to her. Disoriented and terrified, she urges him to run, but Ko gently reassures her that the black spider has already been destroyed. He smiles at her selflessness, amazed that she can worry about others even while hovering on the brink of death. Iris realizes that the spider's paralysis poison was the reason her legs refused to move during the fight. Ko quickly administers a detoxification potion, pouring the antidote into her mouth to clear the toxin. Her eyes widen in surprise as she feels the immediate effects of the remedy. Relief washes over her as she confirms the paralysis has faded and she can speak freely again. Grateful to be alive, she thanks Ko for saving her, admitting she owes him a massive debt. Teasing him about a date, she tries to lighten the mood, but Ko insists on carrying her, refusing to leave her helpless. He pauses for a moment, genuinely astonished by her ability to joke after such a harrowing ordeal. Flustered by his proximity, she stammers that she was joking, but he holds her firm and begins the journey back to the city. Ko notes that walking would be too difficult for her, prompting a shy apology from the girl in his arms. Reflecting on the battle, he admits the spider was tougher than the armored bear, while Iris marvels that he defeated it alone. When asked if he was scared, Ko reveals he was too focused on protecting her to feel any fear. Touched by his dedication, she quietly accepts his answer, resting her head against him. As they walk away from the battlefield, she whispers a heartfelt thank you, safe in his arms. Ko carries the exhausted Iris on his back, pushing through the guild doors with the armored bear cub resting on his shoulder. Two guild staff members rush over, shouting his name in relief upon seeing their safe return. The receptionist gasps, asking if he really defeated the black spider while checking Iris's condition. Ko smiles wearily, confirming the quest is complete as he receives a warm welcome back. While Iris clings to him, the staff barrage him with questions about a bath or dinner, but he insists on reporting first. A promotional insert announces that the first volume of the comic series is now on sale. In the Adventurers Guild reception office, the atmosphere shifts to a more formal tone. The receptionist holds up a card, declaring that she is about to let him in on a secret. Ko stares in shock at the ID card she presents, realizing her fingers are covering her age. He learns that the cheerful receptionist is actually the assistant branch manager of the guild. She laughs off his surprise, explaining that she works the window to help out because they are short-staffed. Ko struggles to reconcile her high-ranking position with her usual casual demeanor. Her expression turns serious as she bows deeply, thanking him for preventing a massacre. Speaking for the entire Onin branch, she offers her sincere gratitude for his heroic actions. Dropping the formalities, she eagerly asks him to recount the details of his adventure. Ko begins his report, explaining the events that transpired after he left the guild. He mentions the pack of lonely wolves, noting her keen interest in their unusual behavior. She exclaims in disbelief that he subdued over 2,000 enemies alone, hastily checking his subjugation history. Staring at him with wide eyes, she asks if he is a divine messenger, questioning who he really is. The conversation turns to the antidote, as she asks how he cured a poison that has no known remedy. Ko explains that he synthesized a potion himself and handed it over to the rescue team for replication. She informs him that his adventurer rank will be raised and a management meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. The Black Spider's subjugation reward is estimated at 5 million, plus bonuses for high-ranking monsters. Ko worries the amount is too high, but she explains that a full team would normally split such a bounty. He recalls the relief on the rookies' faces when the rescue team arrived at the city gates. Realizing Iris risked her life for them, he demands to know what share of the reward she will receive. The assistant manager winks, assuring him that the guild always rewards good deeds appropriately. Later at the Golden Bear restaurant, a guild member greets Ko as he enters. The crowd erupts with praise, calling his solo victory over the spider a talent seen once in a century. Cheers of, "The star is here," ring out, blocking his attempt to quietly eat dinner and retreat. The patrons debate whether to call him Bear Killer or Spider Killer as they celebrate their hero. Dragged into the festivities, Ko finds himself toasting with the boisterous adventurers. The night wears on until the revelers are slumped over tables, mumbling in their drunken sleep. Ko smiles softly, feeling a sense of belonging in this city for the first time. The door creaks open, and he turns in surprise to see Iris standing there, awake and moving. Silence falls over the room as the dragonfolk girl steps hesitantly into the light. She worries that her presence will cause trouble, fearing that humans still avoid her kind. The rookie adventurers recognize her immediately, scrambling to their feet in a panic. To her shock, they bow deeply and thank her profusely for saving their lives. Ko raises his glass, commanding the room to celebrate her heroism as the night's true guest of honor. Adventurers proclaim Iris the true hero, praising her for holding off the black spider single-handedly to save the rookies. The entire tavern raises their mugs, roaring a toast to her incredible bravery. Cheers ring out as the celebration of her valor reaches its peak. Ko watches Iris sip her drink with a smile, hopeful that this moment marks the beginning of her acceptance. 10 days drift by as the city of Anin returns to its daily routine. Milia excitedly announces Ko's record-breaking promotion to D rank as he settles into his new life. He learns that reaching C rank requires grinding through mundane city quests alongside monster subjugation. At the Golden Bear restaurant, the owner grins and welcomes Brother Bear for his kitchen assistant's shift. Ko ties on his apron, awkwardly trying to adopt a rough tone as he begins the prep work. Milia spies from the window, terrified and impressed by the wolf apron and his intense aura. A sonic boom of chopping ensues as Ko processes meat with godlike speed, stunning the girls. Utilizing dexterity and master chef skills, he adjusts the seasoning with absolute precision. He presents the lunch sandwich, a masterpiece created for the manager's approval. Ko takes a bite, confirming the flavor is flawless while the owner asks if it's acceptable. He praises the food with tears in his eyes, earning a hearty laugh and a bonus from the chef. His next job takes him to the city outskirts to assist with the massive wall expansion project. The dwarf supervisor welcomes him, noting that Ko is so popular he's been requested 5 times today. Ko stands amidst the rubble, tasked with clearing the debris from the demolition zone. He activates his item box to instantly store the wreckage, drawing thunderous applause from the workers. Moving to the industrial sector, he approaches the smoke-filled dwarven workshops. He dumps the reclaimed bricks for the dwarves, who marvel at the sheer convenience of his power. The rowdy dwarves try to ply him with booze, but he laughs off the offer to finish his shift. With 60,000 currency deposited, he heads to the guild to close out his day. Iris waits for him at the entrance, greeting him with a bright smile as he finishes work. She flusters slightly, asking if he has plans and inviting him to dinner. Ko realizes she invites him daily, but accepts the offer and leads her to a beef restaurant. They sit at the Silver Stag, enjoying a recommendation of beef stew. Iris breaks the silence, asking Ko the heavy question of why he came to this city. A memory of a blinding light and a truck flashes through his mind as he struggles to answer. He deflects, unable to explain his origins, and turns the question back to her. Iris reveals her true mission is to find the ancient underground city buried beneath Anin. Recent investigations suggest a fallen ancient civilization left traces across the continent, with a large underground city rumored to be near Anin. Ko realizes that discovering this lost history is the true goal of Iris's ongoing search. Excited by the prospect of a classic otherworld setting, Ko fantasizes about finding powerful ancient superweapons resting within the ruins. Iris reveals she has investigated poems and documents for clues but still lacks a precise location for the site. Ko surprises her by pulling out a digital map, noting that he doesn't have the area recorded on his automapping skill yet. Iris leans in uncomfortably close to view the map, prompting a flustered Ko to suggest they look at it together. Ko tries to hide his embarrassment over their proximity while Iris innocently asks him what is wrong. Scanning the Cello Forest area on the map, Ko locates a marker explicitly labeled Underground City No. 0 Entrance. Despite some skepticism about the map's reliability, they note the destination is deep inside the forest. Iris is amazed they located the city so easily and asks Ko for his thoughts on their next move. The pair agrees to head out the very next day to investigate the coordinates and see if the city is real. Following the map's guidance, they arrive at the designated spot within Cello Forest. Confusion sets in as they stand before a solid cliff face with absolutely nothing visible in the area. Ko laments that he cannot test his new black spider gauntlets and their magic absorption abilities on this empty terrain. He begins knocking on the rock surface, searching for a hollow sound that might indicate a hidden door. Despite his S-rank super strength, he cannot budge the suspicious section of the cliff he discovers. Iris has a brilliant idea and suggests that Ko try storing the obstacle directly into his item box. Ko activates his skill, causing the massive section of rock to vanish instantly in a flash of light. Both adventurers stand in stunned silence as the dust settles, revealing what was hidden behind the wall. A massive, sleek metallic door stands before them, confirming this is indeed the entrance to the underground city. Touching the surface, they feel a strange warmth and suspect the door is made of the legendary metal orichalcum. Iris confirms it is likely the rare metal, known for having the best anti-physical and anti-magical defenses in its class. Finding no doorknob, Ko touches the surface where text appears asking if he is blessed by spirits. A system voice welcomes transfer Ko Kusaka and grants him master rights to the underground city after a status check. The celebration is cut short when Iris suddenly screams for Ko to look behind them. A mechanical voice announces that a provisional trial is being initiated to test the intruders. An orichalcum golem rises from the ground, an ancient S-rank magic weapon equipped with a rapid-fire laser cannon. Ko's appraisal confirms the unpleasant reality that the enemy is armored in orichalcum. The machine locks onto them as targets and announces it is commencing elimination. Iris looks at Ko with sheer terror as the massive construct prepares to attack. She bravely steps forward with her spear, offering to act as a decoy so Ko can escape with his life. Iris warns that this S-rank threat once took 20 A-rank adventurers to barely defeat, giving them terrible odds. Ko draws his sword and refuses to flee, insisting they won't know the outcome unless they actually try to fight. He declares that abandoning someone to survive would leave a bad taste in his mouth as the golem charges its weapon. A beam of energy tears through the air, forcing both adventurers to dive desperately out of the way. Ko watches the laser scorch the earth and realizes he cannot afford to take a single hit from the magic weapon. Reasoning that a magic laser uses magic power, Ko identifies the unprotected eyes as the golem's sole weak point. Iris warns him the laser will slice him apart if he approaches, but Ko insists that closing the distance is their only path to victory. Ko volunteers to be the shield and take the brunt of the attacks so Iris can strike the eyes. Iris accepts the risky plan, joking that if they win, Ko will be as strong as 19 A-rank adventurers combined. The orichalcum golem initiates its attack, firing a devastating magic laser while Ko steps in to take the brunt of the blast. A high-pitched screech pierces the air as the deadly beam tears across the battlefield toward the adventurers. Ko meets the blast head-on, bracing himself against the overwhelming energy as the beam strikes his raised gauntlet. A massive explosion of light and smoke engulfs Ko, shielding him from view as the golem maintains the barrage. Inside the smoke, Ko reveals he is using the Black Spider Gauntlet's Magic Absorption S+, to consume the laser's energy. Grinning confidently, Ko confirms that his risky plan to drain the golem's magic is working perfectly. Sparks fly as Ko struggles to hold the beam back, creating the perfect distraction for Iris to advance. Seizing the moment, Ko shouts the signal for Iris to launch her decisive strike now. Iris screams a war cry as she thrusts her spear directly toward the golem's vulnerable eye. The impact shatters the lens, sending shards of glass and magic flying as the golem reels from the critical hit. Desperate, the blinded machine swings a massive fist to crush Iris, but she is already deep in her attack. Ko intercepts the blow instantly, shouting that he won't let the machine touch her. Unleashing the stored energy, Ko uses Black Spider's Thread EX to convert the absorbed magic into a binding thread. The heavy machine loses its balance, crashing onto the stone floor with a deafening thud. Ko lets out a roar of exertion as he tightens the bindings, completely immobilizing the construct. With a final strike, Ko drives his sword into the machine to finish the job. The golem shudders one last time before falling silent. Smoke rises from the deactivated machine as the system announces it is powering off. Iris stares in disbelief, wondering if they actually won as the golem shuts down completely. Ko receives a flood of system notifications confirming his level has reached 38 and his physical abilities have improved. The system declares the provisional trial terminated and grants Ko the master rights to Underground City No. 0. Ko is bewildered, realizing he has accidentally become the owner of the entire ancient city. With the trial passed, the massive door unlocks, finally allowing them access to the interior. Iris sincerely thanks Ko for protecting her, admitting she is only alive right now because of him. She smiles brightly, suggesting they make a great team since neither could have succeeded alone. Ko smiles back warmly, silently acknowledging their shared victory. The system verifies his magic pattern and welcomes him back as Master. Light floods the corridor as the duo steps forward into the mysteries of Underground City No. 0. Ko examines his status screen, noting that his item box skill has evolved from a simple map display to a tool that automatically produces collected items like wolf corpses and potions. Iris stares intently at Ko and asks if he is perhaps a transferer based on his abilities. She explains that there is a legend passed down among the dragonfolk regarding such unique individuals. The legend describes a bizarre entity from a distant land known to possess an excessive amount of skills, which Ko realizes matches his situation perfectly. Ko confirms his identity but asks Iris to keep it a secret when she presses him for more details about his origins. Walking through the dungeon corridors, Iris guesses that his hometown is likely not on this continent given his strange powers. Ko vaguely describes his home as the farthest place imaginable, deciding it is safer not to mention he is from another world lest she disbelieve him. Iris relates to his situation, admitting that she cannot return to her hometown either and agrees to drop the subject. She assures Ko that she trusts him implicitly despite the secrets he feels he must keep. Ko points out that the lengthy tunnel is finally coming to an end as a bright light appears ahead. The duo sprints toward the exit with renewed energy to escape the confines of the tunnel. They emerge from the dungeon into a vast, open landscape under a bright, sunny sky. Iris looks around the grassy field in confusion and questions if they have truly arrived at the underground city. Ko spins around in alarm as he detects a rustling sound coming from the nearby bushes. Both warriors instantly draw their weapons and brace themselves against the potential threat emerging from the grass. A small, tearful creature leaps out from the foliage, crying that it is not a bad monster. Ko and Iris freeze in surprise as the sobbing creature insists it is actually a helper. Ko identifies the entity as a helper slime, a magical creature created by ancient civilizations to manage the underground city. The slime cheerfully introduces itself to Master San, causing Iris to lower her guard as she realizes it isn't an enemy. Ko pauses in confusion when he notices the slime referred to itself as we instead of I. A massive horde of slimes emerges, boasting about their skills in farming and building while declaring they have waited 4,000 years for a master. The army of slimes bows in unison, pledging their service and asking Ko to take care of them. Ko awkwardly accepts their allegiance while his companion looks on in absolute bewilderment. Iris sneaks up behind one of the creatures and pokes it, causing it to giggle from the ticklish sensation. She blushes and smiles warmly, unable to resist the adorable nature of the helper slime. Ko teases Iris about her fondness for cute things, flustering her as she tries to regain her warrior composure. The slimes explain that the underground sanctuary is currently a grassland and encourage Ko to build a city there. A system notification confirms that hidden conditions are met, linking Ko's full assist skill to the underground city's mainframe. Ko clutches his head in pain as new information and skill functions download directly into his mind. He recovers quickly and tells Iris he understands how the system works now that the data has been assimilated. Ko steps forward to test the expanded creation skill, noting new functions are available only because he is inside the city. He extends his arm toward an empty plot of land, aiming his magic to construct a building from nothing. With a focus of will, he activates the skill, while Iris and a slime watch in anticipation. A fully formed two-story house materializes instantly with a loud poof and a cloud of smoke. Ko and Iris gasp in shock at the sudden appearance of the completed structure. Ko explains that his regenerating mana is automatically converted into 5 building materials per second once his MP hits full capacity. The interface shows that 10 units of building materials are required to instantly construct a small house. The slime is baffled by the instant creation, while Ko excitedly realizes this is just like a city-building game. The slime asks if he has the building directives skill, insisting that he should be instructing them to build instead of doing it instantly. Ko realizes his full assist bypasses the normal restrictions that limit the building skill to heroes or demon lords, making him a special case. The swarm of slimes trembles in awe, revealing that the creation skill is a divine power granted only to those recognized by the gods. Cheers erupt as the creatures celebrate their master's amazing ability, convinced that under his guidance, the city is bound to become magnificent. Iris warns Ko that his ability to instantly craft everything from weapons to furniture will make him an enemy of every craftsman in the land. Undeterred, the slimes express their sheer delight that Ko will be the one constructing their long-awaited city. Ko tempers their excitement by explaining that construction must wait, though he assures them the underground sanctuary will eventually prove useful. Iris suggests reporting their discovery to the guild, noting that a functioning ancient civilization is a massive archaeological find. Agreeing to the principles of reporting, they bid farewell to the tearful slimes and promise to return to the underground city soon. Back at the guild in Anin, Ko asks for Milia but learns she is unavailable, while secretly regretting he couldn't bring a slime home. The receptionist explains that Milia is attending an emergency meeting as a proxy for the branch head and offers to take a message instead. Ko insists on making his report immediately, causing the receptionist to initially dismiss the matter as unnecessary. When Ko casually reveals they have discovered a functioning ancient underground city, the receptionist freezes in absolute shock. Recovering from her mental crash, she listens as Ko explains the ruins are near Anin and requests a discussion on how to proceed. Panic sets in as she realizes the magnitude of the news, screaming that she must consult a superior before rushing off. While waiting in the reception office, Ko mentions a scholar from the capital is in town and hopes to finish lunch before the meeting starts. Iris offers to share her special lunch, presenting a high-quality meal that catches Ko's eye. She playfully tries to feed him a massive portion, but Ko politely declines the oversized bite and opts for the fried food instead. Iris smiles warmly, admitting she usually eats alone and enjoys having someone to compliment the cooking she does in her free time. Ko reflects on the day's events, surprised to discover that the fierce warrior Iris likes cute things and is an excellent cook. Their meal is interrupted when someone arrives at the room, signaling that the wait is over. The door swings open with a clatter, revealing a visitor who is in a frantic rush. A figure with long hair stumbles in, panting heavily from the exertion of running to the meeting. Ko is taken aback, having expected the scholar from the capital to be an elderly man rather than this young arrival. The newcomer adjusts his glasses and apologizes for keeping them waiting. He introduces himself as Larich Dubert, an archaeologist and the third son of a duke, prompting Ko to worry about noble etiquette. Larich quickly dismisses the formalities, insisting they treat him as an equal despite his aristocratic background. He confesses that formal behavior makes his body itch and begs Ko and Iris to speak casually with him. Leaning in with sparkling eyes, the enthusiastic scholar demands to hear every detail about the underground city immediately. Larich stares in disbelief at the massive structure before him, questioning if this is truly the entrance to the underground city. The scholar is ecstatic over the divine luster of the orichalcum door, but the mood shifts when the gate verifies a magic pattern and opens for them. A mechanical whir echoes as the door retracts, and a voice greets Ko, welcoming the master back to his domain. Larich, unaware that Ko is the master, is brought along to verify the discovery, while Iris questions the voice calling Ko by that title. The scholar is left dumbfounded by the revelation that Ko and Iris defeated an orichalcum golem by themselves to reach this point. Overcome with excitement, Larich sprints toward a pristine house standing amidst the underground landscape. He marvels at the impossible sensation of wind and the smell of grass, unable to believe such an environment exists underground. The sheer impossibility of the environment leaves the scholar momentarily breathless as he takes in the surroundings. Larich furiously scribbles notes for his thesis, declaring this a history-changing discovery, just as slimes bounce over to welcome their master home. A cheerful helper slime jiggles forward to introduce itself, greeting the bespectacled scholar for the first time. The shock of the encounter sends Larich reeling back in a scream of absolute terror. Ko confirms it is a helper slime, causing Larich to panic because such ancient magical creatures were believed to be a hoax. Regaining his composure, Larich points to the residence and asks if the slime was the one who constructed the house. The slime cheerfully corrects him that Master Ko built it instantly, leading Larich to deduce that Ko has the development rights to the empty city. Larich expresses immense gratitude that a respectful discoverer like Ko found the ruins instead of vandals, thanking him for preserving history. Ko casually asks if anything is fine, prompting a confused reaction from the scholar. They move the conversation inside the house, where Larich confidently invites Ko to ask any questions he has about ancient civilizations. The group gathers in the modern-looking living room to begin their discussion about the past. Ko feels a sense of déjà vu noting the similarity to a Japanese house, while Larich fidgets comfortably after removing his shoes according to ancient custom. As he observes the familiar setting, Ko begins to wonder if this world might actually be Earth in the distant future. Larich begins his explanation, stating that this civilization flourished in this world approximately 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. He describes a society with advanced magic technology where the sky was the limit, allowing them to reach other stars and planets. The ancients used flying mechanical birds and palm-sized boxes to communicate, creating magic lamps and showers that modern people still rely on. Ko listens intently, realizing that this ancient magic-based society closely mirrors the scientific world he came from. Despite their magnificence, the ancestors lost their technology and were suddenly brought to total destruction. A trembling Larich admits he doesn't know the details, prompting Iris to ask if a world war caused their demise. The scholar reveals that a monster referred to as the Calamity is the likely cause of the civilization's annihilation. Iris confirms that dragonfolk legends speak of an alliance with humanity against this Calamity, giving Ko a bad feeling about his transfer. After a rampage that crushed the dragonfolk, the Calamity went into a slumber somewhere in this world. Larich fears the recent spike in monster activity across the continent is a sign that the Calamity is awakening. Iris agrees, noting that thousands of lonely wolves and deep mountain monsters like armored bears have appeared near Anin. The group falls silent as they process the possibility that the destroyer of the ancient civilization might reawaken in their age. The tension is broken when the helper slime bounces in, cheerfully announcing that it has brought tea and snacks for everyone. The slime presents a table full of delicious-looking pancakes, urging the group to eat whatever they like. Ko and Iris dig into the food, their faces lighting up as they exclaim how good the meal tastes. The plates are quickly emptied as they finish the super delicious meal with satisfaction. A jealous Larich asks where they got the fresh ingredients and tableware, envious that ancient people ate this well. The helper slime casually explains that it possesses an item box linked directly to its body. Ko and Larich are stunned to hear the creature has internal storage, which the slime confirms holds all sorts of things. To prove its point, the slime pulls out a massive rocking chair, smugly asking if they are surprised. Larich turns pale as he realizes the delicious ingredients for their meal were regurgitated from the slime's mouth. Desperate to change the subject, the scholar suggests Ko build something to distract from the talk of the Calamity. Larich outlines his proposal, stating his first motive is to advance archaeological research. He grimly adds that given recent events, this underground city could serve as a crucial evacuation center for Anin. Ko agrees to the plan, intrigued by the prospect of a real-life city-building game while acknowledging the safety benefits. Wasting no time, Ko stands before the empty land and declares his intention to test his powers immediately. Noting his material stock has hit 8,000, Ko decides to try a mass construction experiment rather than building houses one by one. He selects a residential area option costing 2,000 materials to see if he can manifest an entire district simultaneously. A massive, glowing sphere of light floats into the sky like a construction egg, leaving Larich and Iris gaping in shock. The orb bursts open in a blinding flash, instantly materializing an entire townscape on the empty plain below. A fully formed district emerges from the light, complete with detailed houses and street lamps sparkling with magical energy. Iris and Larich praise Ko as if he were a god, though he humbly insists it is merely the power of his skill. Iris marvels at the tranquil weather and nearly exposes Ko as a transferer before correcting herself to praise his overpowered ability. Overcome with gratitude for the archaeological miracle, Larich screams his thanks and rushes off to inspect the buildings up close. A helper slime bounces over to Ko while the scholar frantically runs around the newly created district. The slime asks for permission to furnish the interiors, and the swarm of creatures eagerly volunteers to handle the task. In no time, the city is completed with residential, farm, and trade districts based on Anin, populated by slimes cooking and farming. Larich stands amidst the bustling town, unable to comprehend that this entire area was just an empty field 2 hours ago. Ko contemplates the terrifying potential of his creation skill, wondering where this power will eventually lead him. The scholar declares he will inform His Majesty about this monumental discovery, causing Ko to panic at the mention of royalty. Larich casually reveals he holds a degree, apologizing for not mentioning his academic credentials sooner. He introduces himself properly as a professor of archaeology, flashing his identification with a smug grin. The professor boasts about inventing magic tools like city lamps and stoves, surprising Ko with his actual competence and status. Despite his achievements, Lerich admits he gets lonely and asks Ko to continue treating him casually as a friend. Ko smiles and agrees, shaking hands with the eccentric professor to seal their continued partnership. Suddenly, a strange rattling sound rises from the ground, disturbing the peaceful atmosphere. A massive tremor strikes with a booming roar, throwing the group off balance as the earth violently shakes. Ko shouts in alarm, his eyes wide with shock as the ground lurches beneath them. Lerich and Iris scream in terror, flailing their arms as they struggle to stay standing during the quake. The three collide and cling to one another, bracing themselves against the sudden violent upheaval. As the shaking subsides, they question if it was an earthquake, but their confusion is interrupted by the panicked helper slime. The slime frantically warns that something terrible has happened and urges them to follow it immediately. Ko and the others exchange horrified glances before sprinting after the creature to investigate the source of the disturbance. They arrive to find a massive, ominous black obelisk etched with glowing sigils rising from the earth, leaving Ko speechless. Ko recognizes the glowing pattern on the obelisk, noting its striking resemblance to the magic circle that summoned the Orichalcum golem. The massive structure erupted from the earth during the earthquake, standing as an ominous monolith. Lerich steps forward, analyzing the structure as transfer magic before suddenly disappearing into the light. Ko cries out the professor's name in panic as he vanishes from sight. Unwilling to abandon their companion, Iris turns to Ko and demands a decision on their next move. Ko stares at the glowing gate, weighing the risks of following the professor into the unknown. Ko and Iris exchange a determined nod, resolving to chase after the eccentric archaeologist. Together, they reach out and place their hands against the humming magic circle, activating the transfer. Transported instantly, the duo finds themselves sprinting down a sleek, metallic corridor. They rush forward, desperate to catch up with Lerich in this strange new environment. Lerich halts ahead, noting that the corridor offers only a single path forward. Ko checks his digital map, confirming the linear layout of their mysterious location. Lerich spreads his arms in a dramatic welcome, cheering enthusiastically as Ko and Iris catch up to him. He beams with excitement, seemingly unfazed by the sudden teleportation. Iris expresses relief at Lerich's safety, though the professor is overly touched to learn they actually worried about him. He weeps with joy, prompting Ko to wryly ask what else they would do in such a situation. A sharp clacking sound echoes from the darkness, cutting through the group's conversation. Ko freezes, his senses going on high alert as he detects the approaching noise. Ko and Iris instantly draw their weapons, ordering Lerich to get behind them for safety. Tense and ready for a fight, Ko warns that the approaching entity might be a monster. The tension breaks as a small, soft creature flops harmlessly onto the floor before them. The creature cries out in panic, waving its nubby arms to insist it is not a threat. It pleads with the armed adventurers, declaring itself a good monster. Introducing itself as Glasses Slime, a small helper variant, the creature bows respectfully to Ko. It greets Ko as Master, revealing a connection to his own abilities. The slime guides them down the dark corridor, explaining they have reached the deep territory. It reveals this location is the absolute deepest level of the ancient underground city. Glasses Slime leads them to a monitoring station, explaining its purpose is to watch over the Black Dragon. It ominously identifies the creature as one of the legendary calamities. Ko stops in his tracks, his mind racing as he processes the slime's wording. He mutters to himself, realizing the implication that there is more than one calamity. The slime admits they don't know the exact numbers, but confirms there are tons of calamities waiting. Ko realizes with dread that a second or even third apocalyptic threat might exist. Iris and Lerich stand aghast, terrified by the revelation that the world faces multiple existential threats. Lerich trembles, stammering as he asks if such a horrifying truth could really be valid. The slime interrupts their panic, insisting that what it is about to say is of critical importance. It acknowledges their shock but presses on with its urgent report. It warns that the seal holding back the threat will break once specific conditions are met. The current area exists solely to maintain that fragile containment. Ko connects the dots, asking if the breaking of the seal means the Black Dragon's resurrection. The slime grimly confirms his fears, sealing the grim prognosis. The trio stands in stunned silence, the weight of the impending doom crashing down on them. Their faces pale as they comprehend the return of an ancient destroyer. Ko clutches his head in despair, lamenting that his relaxed Isekai life has suddenly shifted into extreme difficulty mode. He dreads facing the entity responsible for destroying the ancient civilization, likening it to a final boss. The oppressive darkness of the situation weighs heavily on Ko's mind. He feels the crushing reality of a final boss scenario looming over his peaceful existence. The slime delivers a deadline, stating they have less than 10 days before the dragon reawakens. It points towards the Phaedos Mountains in the north as the resting place of the beast. Sensing the heavy atmosphere, the slime suggests moving to a different room to explain the situation fully. It leads them deeper into the facility to review the data on the black dragon. The group follows the slime into a stark, tiled room housing a solitary pedestal. A glowing orb rests atop it, waiting to be activated. Glass's slime instructs Ko to touch the orb, explaining it is a magic tool designed to recreate images. Ko reaches out, his hand hovering over the smooth surface of the device. As Ko makes contact, the device hums to life, announcing the release of its lock. A holographic screen materializes, initiating the revival of ancient records. A vivid projection of a sprawling ancient city appears, stunning the onlookers. Lerich realizes they are viewing historical records from 4,000 years in the past. The peaceful image is shattered as the silhouette of a colossal dragon descends from the sky. Its dark wings spread wide, casting a shadow of doom over the ancient metropolis. Energy gathers in the dragon's gaping maw, forming a sphere of destructive power. The beast prepares to unleash a cataclysmic attack upon the city below. A beam of pure annihilation erupts from the dragon, striking the heart of the civilization. The city is instantly consumed by a blinding explosion of fire and debris. The dragon roars in triumph as the city crumbles into ash and ruin. Silhouettes of ancient people scream in agony, vaporized in an instant by the overwhelming heat. Massive explosions continue to tear through the landscape, obliterating everything in their path. The dragon looms over the destruction, an unstoppable force of nature. The recording ends in a blinding flash of white light. Ko watches in horror, sweat pouring down his face as he witnesses the raw power of the calamity. The slime solemnly explains that thousands of lives were extinguished in mere seconds. It describes the black dragon as a being of pure destruction, akin to a natural disaster. Iris shudders, comparing the dragon's power to an earthquake or a flood. Ko turns away, admitting he has never faced anything of this caliber in his life. A heavy silence falls over the group as Ko stares at the orb, contemplating the impossible battle ahead. Lerich breaks the tension, calling out to Ko with a trembling voice. Shaking uncontrollably with fear, Lerich insists they must return to Anin immediately. He desperately proposes evacuating the entire population to the safety of the underground city. Ko acknowledges the gravity of the situation with a somber expression as he prepares for the daunting task ahead. The slime calculates that balancing the evacuation against the black dragon's awakening makes it a race against time, estimating they have only 3 days to spare. Utilizing the slime's transfer magic, the group instantly travels from the deep territory to the entrance of the underground city near Anin. Inside the guild hall, the atmosphere is thick with tension as adventurers and soldiers stand on high alert. Whispers ripple through the crowd as everyone senses the unnatural strain in the air regarding the impending danger. Miria welcomes the group back, thanking them for their swift verification of the ruins despite the short notice. Lerich pushes his glasses up and confidently confirms that the discovered ruins unequivocally belong to an ancient civilization. Miria laments that they cannot celebrate this historic discovery, revealing that current events have put everyone on edge. She points to the north, reporting that the Phaedos Mountains are displaying ominous signs of an impending stampede. Ko repeats the word, stampede, in shock, realizing the scale of the new threat looming over the city. Miria explains that high concentrations of magicules were detected that morning, signaling a flood of monsters will emerge within hours. The guild estimates that 50,000 monsters will descend upon Anin within the next 3 days to annihilate the town. With the feudal lord's army already wiped out months ago, Anin faces this once-in-a-century disaster completely alone. Grimacing, Miria admits that defending the city with only mercenaries and adventurers will be extremely difficult. Desperate for a solution, she asks Ko for his honest opinion on whether the underground city can serve as a refuge. Ko flashes a confident smile and assures her there are absolutely no problems with using the facility for evacuation. The group stands together on a hill overlooking the town as night falls, the lights of Anin twinkling below. Zetan Barden, the branch head, approaches them with a look of disbelief, amazed they secured a path underground. He formally requests permission to use the underground city to accommodate and save the entire population of Anin. Ko accepts the gratitude with a smile, assuring Zetan that saving everyone was the plan from the very beginning. Both sides pledge to do their best to safely evacuate the citizens before the disaster strikes. Hesitant to worsen the mood, Ko prepares to inform Zetan and Miria about the looming threat of the Black Dragon. Suddenly, Glass's slime frantically interrupts the conversation, screaming for its master's attention. The slime bounces wildly, shouting that the situation has become ridiculous and demanding everyone listen immediately. Ko tries to calm the hysterical creature, confused as to why it isn't monitoring the situation from deeper inside. Glass's slime confirms the stampede in the north but reveals a terrifying correlation to their other problem. It explains that the massive surge of magicules generated by the stampede is agitating the dormant energy nearby. In a panicked frenzy, the slime reports that the Black Dragon is reacting to the energy and will awaken much earlier than expected. Watching the recording of the Black Dragon's devastation, the group stands frozen in horror as the ancient city crumbles before their eyes. Lerich trembles violently, terrified by the realization that they have been living right next to such a dormant monstrosity. Ko realizes with dread that the monster stampede and the Black Dragon's awakening might occur simultaneously, leaving them no time. Prioritizing the safety of the citizens, Lerich declares he must return to Anin immediately to organize the evacuation. Before they leave, Glass's slime insists on showing Ko a special location within the deep territory. Leading him to a vault, the slime explains that the ancients from 4,000 years ago left treasures specifically for him. The slime recites a riddle about 3 doors, instructing Ko to choose based on whether he is an heir, sage, demon, or hero. Ko scratches his head in confusion, admitting to the shocked slime that he doesn't fall into any of those legendary categories. A robotic voice suddenly announces a status check completion, confusing the slime further. The voice declares a hidden requirement satisfied due to Ko's possession of the creation skill, unlocking all doors at once. Heavy mechanical locks disengage as the 3 massive doors slowly creak open. Ko stands before the open vaults, leaving the slime stunned by the unexpected turn of events. Ignoring the confusion, Ko casually decides to investigate the left door first while the slime panics. Walking into the chamber, Ko finds a majestic but shattered greatsword resting on a pedestal. The slime identifies the weapon as the Dragon Slayer's magic sword, noting its tragic state. Ko jokes about not being a hero as the slime explains the blade was destroyed during the battle against the Black Dragon millennia ago. Without hesitation, Ko activates his storage magic and absorbs the broken fragments into his item box. A realization strikes Ko as he processes the materials within his inventory, leaving the slime puzzled. In a flash of light, Ko retrieves the sword, now perfectly restored and radiating immense power. Glass's slime shrieks in absolute disbelief, its eyes spinning as it witnesses the impossible feat. It calls Ko's ability a god skill, while Ko calmly explains he simply fixed it using his creation ability. Ko reveals he learned the crafting recipe by storing the fragments, allowing him to combine the upper and lower halves into the legendary sword Gram. The restored blade gleams with magical energy, boasting S-rank dragon-slaying properties and a self-repairing enchantment. Holding the massive weapon, Ko wonders aloud if this new power finally gives him a fighting chance against the Black Dragon. Eager to find more, Ko slings the sword over his shoulder and sprints toward the next open door. His eyes go wide with excitement as he steps into the second vault and sees the massive machine within. A colossal artillery walker with heavy plating and a massive cannon stands dormant in the hangar. The slime introduces it as an ultra-high-output magic railgun, a weapon capable of incinerating entire armies. Ko instantly stows the giant war machine into his item box, shocking the slime with his infinite storage capacity. The slime realizes that Ko's unnatural existence has granted him an inventory size that approaches infinity. Ko begins tinkering again, combining the railgun with another item while the slime wonders what he is cooking up this time. A massive mechanical construct emerges from the light, fusing the artillery firepower with the humanoid form. Ko reveals the destroyer golem, a synthesis of the railgun and a broken orichalcum golem equipped with high-output lasers. The golem greets its new master politely, and Ko shakes its massive hand in a friendly introduction. Pledging its services for the upcoming stampede, The golem bows while the slime struggles to keep up with the absurdity. Ko immediately moves on to the third door, leaving the exhausted slime to complain about playing the straight man. Inside the final room, they find a shattered remnant of a dark, heavy shield. The slime identifies it as the dragon god's shield, smashed by the black dragon, and claims not even a sage could repair it. Ko attempts his usual magic but stops, admitting with a frown that he actually can't fix this one. Staring at the pile of debris, Ko wonders if the failure is simply due to a lack of necessary materials. Glass's slime admits it doesn't know the specifics of the final item but tries to get Ko's attention regarding its missing component. Ko ponders the dragon god's ruby, realizing he lacks the time to search another country for an item that appears only once in a millennium. Putting the impossible quest aside, Ko thanks the slime for the incredible weapons that should be enough to win the battle. Before they part ways, the slime wriggles excitedly and offers Ko one last gift to aid him. A small, glowing light gently lands on Ko's hand, imparting a faint, warm sensation. Ko stares at the light in surprise, feeling a strange connection to the small entity resting on his glove. The slime explains that this spirit acts as a good luck charm and will lend its power if Ko ever finds himself in trouble. Walking away, Ko glances back at the vault and wonders what exactly a spirit actually is. He recalls that spirits are invisible beings born from human emotions that constantly watch over people. Back at the mansion, Ko sits on the sofa and asks Iris how the city is handling the evacuation. Iris smiles and reports that the guild staff use their skills to prevent panic, ensuring preparations are moving smoothly. Relieved, Ko mentions he found weapons in the vault useful for fighting the black dragon, asking about her own status. Iris's expression darkens as she falls silent, her mood shifting suddenly into solemnity. She finally decides to reveal the true reason she left her homeland to search for the ancient ruins. With a serious gaze, Iris confesses she is searching for the lost treasure of her people, the dragon god's shield. She explains it was lost in the battle against the black dragon 4,000 years ago, prompting a shocked internal reaction from Ko. Ko frantically waves his hands to stop her, realizing the awkward coincidence of the situation. Sweating nervously, Ko struggles to find the right words to explain the item currently in his possession. He admits he has the shield but explains he cannot fix it without the dragon god's ruby, which Iris immediately reveals she possesses. Iris places a glowing red orb into Ko's hand, identifying it as the legendary dragon god's ruby. Ko stares at the orb in his palms, feeling a distinct warmth radiating from the ancient stone. Iris urges him to use it, citing a dragonfolk legend that says to grace a transfer with the ruby if they possess the shield. Swallowing his nervousness, Ko activates his magic and initiates the restoration process. A blinding light fills the room as the broken fragments fuse with the ruby, reforming into a majestic shield. The restored dragon god's shield gleams with power, displaying stats that require the dragon god's shrine maiden skill to wield. Iris notices Ko staring blankly at the shield and leans in to ask if something is wrong. Ko shows her the fully restored shield but admits with a sigh that he is unable to use it. He explains the item restriction, stating that only someone with the specific shrine maiden skill can utilize its full power. Iris smiles brightly and shocks Ko by casually revealing that she possesses that exact skill.